training and choose to work specialist with vocational rehabilitation. Today I'm going to be talking with Charlotte about the Choose to Work program and what we offer through that program. And I also want to get an idea of what has been happening in her job search so I know exactly how to direct our work. The first thing I usually begin with is finding out whether or not she's getting interviews. And then if she's not, we'll look at what she's putting on her applications and what her resume looks like. Then if her application process is successful and she's getting interviews, one of the things I want to know is how she's answering different questions within the interview. And so we'll talk about that a little bit if that's the case. Hi Charlotte, my name is Lance. I'm a Choose to Work specialist with vocational rehabilitation. And what I do is help you with your job search. Sure. So one of the things I wanted to start with is to get a little bit of information about how your job search is going.
Long time ago, I was real frustrated looking for a job. Meetings, discussions. I'd say you need a bachelor's degree from a university. I did not want to go to a university. I went to work at a Walmart department store. They said you need a certificate. I accepted that. It'll take about a week. To be in the finance department. I wanted the experience.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we'll talk about today is I want to get an idea of how you're filling out your applications. Because what we want to do is make sure that we address any barrier that might be preventing you from getting a job.
Yes. There's so much.
Okay. It's a real simple idea, but one of the things that we go by is that when you're job searching, there are things that are within your control and things that aren't. So what we want to do today is look at the things that are within your control that we can work on to improve your success when you're job searching. So one important thing when you're going to apply for work, and it looks like you're looking to get into the finance and accounting field.
I'd like to join other offers, work from home.
Okay. So one thing that's really important is that employers are looking to match up your skills with their job description. So it sounds like you're looking for 2 or 3 different types of jobs. So one of the things that you'll want to do is make sure that each application is tailored to the type of job that you're applying for.
Yes.
Okay. So one thing to do when you're filling out applications is to think about the skills that you have that relate to that position that you're applying for. And you can use the job description that's maybe posted in the job announcement as a template or a guide for you to make sure that you touch upon as many of those skills that they list in that description.
It's wonderful. I will add that to my resume, my skills.
That's good. That would be really nice. So once you are,
Fine.
once you start looking at and listing some of your skills on an application or on your resume, you want to tell an employer not just what you do, but how well you do it. One of the things you might be experiencing when you go and apply for work, and you've maybe heard on the news, is that you've got a lot of people applying for work and not very many jobs. So one of the things that we need to accomplish is to get your resume or your application read by the person that's doing the recruiting.
Okay.
So we want to make your application stand out and give them good information by telling them as much as we can how well you do something. Okay. Hopefully that process is going to get you an interview. We'll have done an application or resume well enough that that person is interested in seeing you and interviewing you for the job.
Yes. Okay.
So the next step you're going to probably move to is the interviewing phase.
Okay.
So something to keep in mind at the interview phase is that an employer has invited maybe 10 people in to apply or to interview for a job. And all of those people probably meet the minimum qualifications that that employer is looking for. So one of the goals that we have when you're interviewing is to beat out the other people that are interviewing for that same job. Does that make sense?
I don't understand the skills.
Okay, great. And you say you're going to bring that resume to our next appointment? Okay, great.
Yes.
One of the things that we'll be working on in your resume then is to develop a skills-based resume. Traditionally, resumes have listed your employment from the most recent back in time, sometimes about 10 years. What we're going to be looking at doing with your resume is highlighting your skills more than your work history. Does that kind of make sense?
I have an idea that my old resume is lousy. My new one's going to be much better.
One of the things that we can do when we look over that resume is I can bring a printout of some of the skills that are related to the different types of jobs that you're going to be applying for. And we can use that as a guide to write your new resume.
So in the interview, they say you have to go to school. It's not on my resume. I haven't gone to a university.
There's a couple of different things that we could do. One, we want to look at some of the skills that those jobs have and then match up some of your skills to see if you have some of the skills that are required for the job. If you just need to learn some skills related to that job that you could maybe learn on the job, then one of the things that we can look at is on-the-job training.
Yes, yes. I have technology background.
Yeah. So we might be able to do an on-the-job training agreement with an employer if you have enough of the skills to get hired in that position. If not, we'll have to look at schooling.
Okay.
Okay, great. So how do you feel like your interviews go?
Very friendly. I enjoy the meetings with the interviewers. I don't complain. They don't complain. I don't have a nice resume.
That sounds really good. I recently interviewed an employer that, and I asked them what they look for at each stage in the interviewing process. And you bring up a really important point that employers in an interview not only look to see if the person has the skills, but they look for friendliness. And so doing both of those are going to be really good for you.
Okay.
And then one suggestion that I give job seekers when interviewing is to know your past experience and how it relates to the position you're applying for. That can help you to answer those tough questions, like, what can you tell me about yourself? Or why did you apply for this job?
Okay.
So if an employer asked you, what can you tell me about yourself? If you think of that statement, know your past experience, how it relates to the position you're applying for, that can give you a really good answer to that question for that interview.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
The certificate for the job.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll work on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.